Coming up on ALF. Wait, what?
I thought the city council meeting was actually tonight, but unfortunately, this is what happens when you take the word of 80s sitcom legend ALF.
Stay tuned for a very special episode of 80s sitcom ALF. All right, guys, what's going on? Levi Trumbull standing outside City Hall in Frederick, Maryland, and I'm going to give you guys some good life advice. I'm too young to have ever known the 80s sitcom ALF, but I'm sure that some of my viewers are well old enough to remember that series. Well, the bottom line is you don't take any advice, you don't take any information from ALF because it's not likely to be correct, as I learned tonight. So we thought we were appearing at the Frederick City Council meeting tonight. However, we were quite wrong, and this was the Historical Preservation Commission tonight, whatever that means. So I had to tweak my speech tonight to make it fit under the umbrella of historical preservation. We still came here, or at least I did, to talk about City Attorney Michael Fry, who is terrible at producing public information requests. These are documents that are owned by the city of Frederick. There are documents, when we ask to produce them, they need to be turned over, and they cannot fight us in doing that. So the bottom line is we are talking about that. We're not letting that go. And despite the fact we mixed up the city council for the Historical Preservation Commission tonight, regardless, we still got in what we needed to say, and that's all that really matters at the end of the day. Alf, do you have any comments? You were really turning some heads inside of Frederick City Hall just a moment ago.
At least one reporter is coming. I promised him whiskey.
Everyone who wishes to speak on any cases this evening or otherwise be heard, please rise and be sworn in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the responses given and statements made in this hearing before the Historic Preservation Commission will be the whole truth and nothing but the truth? If so, answer I do. Thank you very much. Please introduce yourself and give your address, please.
Okay, so my name is Levi Trumbull, and I reside in the city of Frederick, Maryland. And good evening, Historic Commission. I thought the city council meeting was actually tonight, but unfortunately, this is what happens when you take the word of 80s sitcom legend ALF. But in any event, the Historic Preservation Commission is actually the perfect venue to discuss the matters that I am going to be discussing tonight. I believe deeply in the historic preservation of records in the city of Frederick, Maryland. Records are what tell the history and the story of any jurisdiction. I am concerned that Michael Fry in the city attorney's office is not concerned with the historical preservation of city records. Here's a quick story. I filed a records request for a simple 4-page historical document back in February. I did not hear back as it relates to that request for many months. I contacted the city legal office, and Mike Fry sent me a letter talking about how he was going to possibly destroy these historical public records. In my opinion, that should concern deeply this esteemed historical board. I always thought that destroying records was a misdemeanor in the state of Maryland, and I told Michael Fry, along with other people who hopped into that same Maryland Public Information request, to use a word that you guys might appreciate, preserve those records. Finally, after months of going back and forth, Michael Fry finally released that simple historical document over to me. I thought it was over, and it should have been over, but however, Michael Fry turned around and filed a request to mediate with the ombudsman with the Attorney General's office. There was nothing to mediate because the records production for the historical document had already been produced at that point. So there was nothing to mediate. When Michael Fry learned that, he turned around and filed a complaint with the Attorney General's Public Information Compliance Board, and that is currently pending as of this moment. The bottom line is it seems like Attorney Mike Fry is upset that he was not allowed to destroy historical records, and this should concern everyone, this board, the city council, and members of the public. So I am asking the city of Frederick, Maryland, this Historical Preservation Commission, to stop Mike Fry from destroying any city public records in the future if he ever feels like that's the direction he wants to take it. And I'm going to wrap up here right now. But the bottom line is we need to release the Epstein files, and we need to also release Levi Trumbull's public information requests when he files them. So, and Justin Holder's too. So thank you guys very much. This was a perfect venue to share this message. And thanks to Alf for being here tonight. What a wonderful situation. It's a shame that they probably won't do a wide shot and they won't see the 80s sitcom legend Alf here tonight. But rest assured he is here tonight. So thank you guys very much. Have a wonderful evening, and it's been a pleasure.
He'll be on camera, rest assured.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And with that, we're adjourned.